Hi, I'm Dr. Robin McEvoy, and we are coming to you today, me and Bessie the cat, to talk about things we can be doing to promote learning in our kids in a time when everything's a little uncertain and we have to keep distances. Remote schooling took us all by surprise, and we're all struggling to sort of get our feet on the ground with it. But I thought it'd be good to put out some activities that we can go do. Today's a science activity, and it's basically called a spring walk. We're going to go outside and look for signs of early spring. And little kids, bigger kids, we can all go out and take a look. Kids can bring a camera or a camera phone if they want to take pictures of what they find. But let's go out and look for signs of early spring and talk about early spring. So, we're doing a science project, and we're starting in my little backyard in my little townhome. You can see that that is a tent made for the dog for when it snows. He can go out and potty. But we're not going to start there. Our science project is looking for signs of spring. Still here now in almost April, and you can see there's not a lot of spring. We're taking the puppy with us so you can know what it's like to do a project with a young child or puppy with you. So this is where the asparagus would come up, and so far nada. If we look very close, we can see tiny little bits of green coming up some places. I don't even know if we can see. Oh, there it is. You can see it. And that's what we're looking for, tiny, tiny little starts of life. And we're not even sure what it's going to be. Is it a weed or is it volunteers? I actually haven't planted anything yet. I have one brave, brave spinach plant that survived the whole winter and is now taking off. And so that's a clear sign of spring. But the other signs are very tiny, just starting to get started. And then we can do things like, I have this bag of compost here that's been blocking, keep the puppy from getting out of the yard. What's under here? What can we see? Let's see. If we see any signs of life, I do. I see a little bitty bug. Let's see. Boom. We get him to move. So we're looking for those little signs of life. Let's dig under some stuff. The puppy, of course, is right here helping me. And he's digging up stuff too. So let's see. It's really hard to see in here. I'm not sure you can see the little bitty caterpillars that are under here. But let's go off to a different spot. Come on, Paco. If we go off to the buckets, the chives have really got a good start here. And if you find something that is something like this, you can stop and smell it. Come here, Paco Chaco. You want to smell it? The time, I leave a lot of my dead growth all winter so it can sort of protect any new growth underneath. But if we look underneath, you can see the little bits of green. New time is starting. The chives have got everywhere, and they're in the cracks. We can always check out the cracks. If you look over here, this is more spinach coming up in a crack. And over here, cilantro seeds and another chive are getting started. Now over here, these are the strawberries getting started. And very soon, as soon as they've got a good start, I'll take some of the dead growth off. But right now, I do leave it to sort of protect things underneath. Here's a good example. This is a whole bucket of pansies. And if we lift up the dead growths from last year, you can see the new ones are coming. I'm gonna wait for it to get a little bit warmer before I take them off. Oh, look, here's something. It's actually a strawberry from last year that never got picked. Maybe it seeded itself. And we will see some things underneath coming through. So, and some things spring hasn't. Oh yeah, look at Paco. He's having a good time helping us with the spring garden. This is Bessie. She is not an important part of spring, but this is her favorite bucket to sit in. So hopefully as soon as things start to flower, she won't be quite as busy in there. So let's try something here. What if we bring our little shovel and we dig a hole? We're digging right close to our spinach here. And we're just seeing if we can find any life under here. But, oh, there's something. Well, not really. It's kind of looking for earthworms. We saw a lot of earthworms out that had gotten washed out a bit on the sidewalk. I'm not seeing any under here. But you can try that. Oh, there's one. There's one. Let's see if he'll move. Two. Look, I got two of them. Not right. Yeah, he'll move. Now we need earthworms. Earthworms are great because they aerate the soil. Let's see if this guy's kind of moving around. They're gonna dig back under pretty quick, and we're gonna bury them so that they're safe. But you see him? He's gonna dig, and he's gonna give, all the tunnels he makes gives air to the soil and helps things grow. So he, or she, or it, is a very important part of spring. And some things haven't started yet at all. The Rose of Sharon is still looking pretty like it's in the midst of winter. But if we go look at the pear tree, we can see the buds are really getting started here. It's so pretty. And in a couple of weeks, it is going to be so green and so spring here. Well, from there, we're gonna go out into the front yard and see what other signs of spring we can find. All right, well, going out the front door here, we continue our science project, which is looking for signs of spring. And we can see right here, right as we come out the door, we have some bulbs coming up, which is always a great first sign of spring in Colorado. And the grasses, though, they're not quite started yet. They're just still waiting, and I don't even see any green yet, so we'll give them a little more time. And some of the evergreens, they're looking good, and actually I feel like there's new growth coming out the top. And then, but some of the other bushes are still waiting. So as we go walking along, see what sort of spring we can find. Let's check the trees and see what trees we see that are started. We have some pretty green on this one. Let's see if I can get it down. They're definitely starting. So as you can see, we have a lot of trees. And the bigger ones really don't seem like they're very started yet. And an interesting situation over here, we have a tree that still has leaves. And so this is gonna be a tree to watch because the dead leaves never fell off from last fall. And not many people know, but the first sign of spring actually happens in the fall when the leaves fall off of a tree. Because what pushes the leaf off is the bud from the next season, from the next leaf. So if the leaves don't fall off, you have to worry that the tree is having trouble producing its new buds. So we'll have to keep an eye on this tree. Let's see, this one over here is a pretty little tree that's, you definitely can see the buds. That is gonna be a pretty flowering tree, I think, in just a few weeks. Let's see if we can find some things closer to the ground. The grass is starting to get a little green. Ooh, someone's planted pansies. There's some pretty little flowers. They've got some purple ones here, and they have some yellow ones, some bigger yellow ones in some other pots. Ooh, this bush has got some pretty things starting on it. It's gonna be a deep reddish purple bush, I think. Ooh, and these are gonna be the tulips. Gonna have to do another run around here in a couple of weeks. So, alrighty. And this one looks like it's getting started. Got some pretty yellow as long as the red's coming out. And whatever this is gonna be a flowering bush. And I wish I could remember the name, or a flowering plant. And Paco's on the walk with us. See lots of spring coming. And the seed heads are still dropping their seeds. And if we look on, you can see the bulbs coming up through the leaves. And we definitely can see spring coming. And that is our science lesson for today. All right, that was a great walk. Bessie's tired. She came back and settled down. So we can go back over there. If you go do this sort of walk, you can say count the number of early signs of life you find on the ground, count the number of early signs of life you find up in the air, count the number of early signs of life you found under the ground if you decide to dig a hole like I did. And You can make a list if you want. You can label things. You can make a list of things you want to check next week to see how they've changed. There's lots of little things you can do. And if you're finding that to be too much because your plate is full, you're trying to work from home, your kids get frustrated with writing tasks, just know that you had a little science activity on your spring walk, and it was a good discussion and hopefully a lot of fun. Thanks.